Yeah, Silent POK, we is back and we is discovering the world little bit by little bit. And today, right now, we're about to listen to Amanda Gorman, the poem that stole the inauguration. Well, according to The Guardian, it stole the inauguration. That's the channel that I'm watching this on. The Hill We Climb, it's called. Now, I did not watch the inauguration. I watched like maybe about 2-3 minutes of it. I was like, nah, this is long. Allow this. Fam, listen, I didn't even watch the royal wedding. It's like that. It's just long. It's like, you know what happens in the end. Why bother? But so I didn't really watch it. I did see some of the stuff that people have posted. So I saw, all the Bernie memes where he's sitting with their mittens and his legs crossed and what people have done with that. It's been really funny. I would say my favorite picture that I've seen so far, and if I can find it, I'll put it on screen. But it's Jill Biden, Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris, and it shows what they're wearing and how it compares them to the Powerpuff Girls. It's pretty accurate. But if I could find it, I'll put it on screen. If not, oh well. But anyway, this is Amanda Gorman. I love me some poetry, so let's listen to Amanda Gorman, The Hill We Climb. Let's press play and see what she got to say.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans and the world. One day comes
She could have just said everybody. I mean, just say. She could have said, hey everybody. Just saying.
Americans and the world. One day comes we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. In the norms.
Quiet isn't always peace. That is so true. Listen, sometimes you've got to pay attention to what's not being said.
We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. In the norms and notions of what just is, isn't always just is. And
nice wordplay.
The dawn is hours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've
It's like, people say, oh, it's just the way it is, just the way it is, just the way it is. But what just is isn't necessarily justice. Oof. Bars, man.
Hours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean
skinny black girl who dreamed of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. Is that Michelle Obama she's referring to? I don't know. I don't want to assume, but
only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired...
she's dropping some bars right now, man. Speak, Amanda, speak.
Grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. It's not about you might win some, you might lose some, but we can't go back to being divided.
And sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb if only we dare it. Because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it.
Ooh, again, the past we step into and how we repair
It's
it.
the past we step into and how we repair it.
There's a saying, I think it's a Lena Horne quote, where she says, everything. Oh no, you no, sorry, not Lena Horne, but I heard it on the Cosby Show. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you're coming from, you'll never know where you're going. I heard it on the Cosby Show. It wasn't Lena Horne that said it though. I think it was Alvin that said it. But anyway, the point is, if you don't know where you're coming from, you never know. You can never know where you're going, and that's something that I 100% believe. It. You know, you need to understand the past to understand why things are the way they are. But you don't live in the past. You know, you understand it and you learn from what went wrong. You learn from what went right, and then you take that and then you move forward with it. So the past is there to be learned from. You know, you look at what happened there to understand why things are the way they are now, and then how you go forward is important. So yeah, big up for that one. Big up.
It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our...
By the way, I realise the legacy of the Cosby Show is somewhat marred, but they did drop some gems in their run. So yeah.
Country, shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour.
You know what? I need everybody who is a poet or any kind of performer to listen to this right now. Let me come back a little bit.
Deception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour. But
actually, let me come back a little bit more.
This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception.
That right there, where she stumbled her words. I want everybody to pay attention to that, because she stumbled her words, and look what happens next. Let's come back a little bit more.
Is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs.
She carried on. She carried. That's the important thing. When you're doing anything, especially live, things can go wrong. Things will always go according to plan. You might mess up your words. You might, stumble. You might, whatever. Loads of things could happen when you're doing things live. She's in front of how many, I don't know how many people in their place right now, but she's in front of a load of people, plus all the people watching around the world. There's a lot of eyes on this girl right now. She stumbled and she carried it on. That's the mark of a professional right there. So I need everybody, if you're a poet, if you're any kind of performer, that's how you do it. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just keep going. Keep going. I know it's difficult when you made that mistake, because I've been there. You make a mistake and it's like, oh shit, and everything feels like just crashing down all at once. But just keep going. Keep going. So yeah, Amanda Gorman, just for that, big up. Big things, big things.
We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the West. We will rise from the windswept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Oof. Oof, that was Amanda Gorman with The Hill We Climb, the poem that stole the inauguration. Ooh. You know what? This young lady right here was dropping some gems, like real talk. That was, what, 5 minutes? Over 5 minutes, nearly 6 minutes. And she was dropping some gems. Like, I'm sure I didn't understand everything she was talking about. It did seem she went quite specific into American culture, and some references seem to be quite specific to American culture that I might not have understood, or maybe I'd, things like that. But from what I got of it, it seemed that she was talking about unity a lot. She seemed she was talking about coming together, about not being divided, working together, seeing that light, if you're being brave enough to see it. She mentioned, was that the skinny black girl who was end up reciting for a president? I don't know. Was she talking about Michelle Obama? I don't know. If you know, let me know. But maybe. But whoever she was talking about, that was that. But yeah, just overall, her performance was on point. She stumbled a little bit, but carried on. That's fine. How she spoke in terms of how she delivered the poem, you could tell like there's like energy and feeling in there. So yeah, like this lady Amanda Gorman, big things, man, big things. In fact, you know what? She gets a double clicks. I like that. Clearly, I like that. What did you think? Let me know. And if you got any videos that you want to see, reactions to any types of videos you want to see on the channel as we discover the world little bit by little bit, and send it through and I'll see what I can do. Like, share, subscribe, because we're doing this thing. More videos over there, my comedy channel over there, movie / video game channel over there. Check them out, be much appreciated. But that's it for the minute. So guys, until whenever, if ever, peace.